Hey, what's happening? So let's talk about my current night train now. Um, like I'd mentioned, when I bought the second night train, the uh, the night train that I really wanted to get, the guy wasn't available that weekend, so I rode all the way out to Riverside, which is a good trek from here, and impulsively bought my second night train. And like I had mentioned before, there was just something about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. It just didn't feel right. And so I actually wrecked that one on the 101 freeway. And I'll talk about the accident in another video. But let's talk about my current night train. The night train, as you know, is my favorite Harley by far. And when I got this, just the ad in the paper, it looked so clean, it looked so beautiful, and the guy didn't want to part with it at all. I mean, he really loved this bike, and I still don't know why he sold it because it's perfect. So let me show you real quick. It's sitting right here in the garage. So this is it. I mean, they're just beautiful bikes. So I put the 16-inch meat hooks on it because I just like that style. I like that look. I put a bunch of Willie G accessories on because, again, that's what I like, so that's what I'm gonna do. And you like the back passenger pegs, the front pegs, the brake pedal, the cam cover, the air filter, everything. So the only thing I still want well, not the only thing, but one of the other things that I want to do here on the bike is I want to get some thunder headers because, even though the Vance and Hines long shots, they sound good. They really do. But there's still kind of like a higher end tinny sound to them, whereas the thunder headers, at least the ones on my 2004, they were deep and throaty and just sounded a lot meaner, and I absolutely felt the difference in performance because they're 2-into-1. Just the throttle response and the torque, I could feel the difference. So I went up after my accident. The insurance company totaled the second night train, and I took the money and actually took my 2023 Street Glide in, and I took the money I got from the night train and I added that to the trade-in, and I got my 2024 Street Glide. It's here, but it's covered. I keep it covered because for some reason in my garage there's a lot of dust and particles and stuff. So I got the Street Glide, and it was like fantastic. It's like such a great bike, so comfortable, and the navigation system and big screen, all of it's just awesome. But I found that even though I put the Willie G accessories on it and everything, and I changed the clutch cable to this cable you're supposed to be able to adjust. Yeah, I don't know. Just working on this bike, I'm a lot more apprehensive about doing stuff. So I really miss that, being able to wrench on the bike and not worry about it, and just the bike. It's a much lower profile on the night train, and the guy even did the lowering kit on the back end, which ironically, for the second night train that I had bought a lowering kit and brake pads and brake caliper rebuild kit, a bunch of stuff that I can use now on this one. But after I got the Street Glide, I really loved it. It was wonderful. I started missing the night train. I started missing the lower profile bike that I could just fling around like it was nothing. The Street Glide, I'm always afraid I'm going to drop it if I cut a corner too sharply going slow. And I do practice those maneuvers, but still, once a bike like that starts to go over you might as well just hang it up. So anyway, um, I, you know, I talked to my wife and everything, and kind of expressed that I kind of wish I hadn't gotten, I would have spent the money on another night train and went and got this one that I have now. Because of course, I showed it to her several times in the paper. I think it was in Craigslist, and it was on Facebook Marketplace. So of course, she got pictures of it and everything, and I'm like, I wish I would have gotten this one. So I'm laying back there in the bedroom watching TV on the weekend, just hanging out. And she comes back and she hands me the phone. She goes, "It's the guy." I'm like, "What?" So it was the guy that owned this bike. And he's like, "Hey, Gene, how's it going? This is so-and-so and blah, blah, blah." My wife wound up buying the bike for me. I couldn't believe it. It was like such a surprise, and it was so considerate and compassionate, because I lost my best friend last year, and he passed away. And we used to work on our bikes out here. I got a big 10-foot pop-up tent. We used to work on our bikes out here together. So this area, the garage, when I put the tent up and work on my motorcycle, it's my sanctuary. It really brings me comfort, because I feel like I'm back there doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so this bike gives me all of that. And I mean, again, not to mention, in my opinion, this is the best looking Harley-Davidson ever. It just comes with attitude. You don't have to have attitude. It comes with attitude. So it's one of those bikes where when you get to your destination, you get off, you definitely turn around and look at it and think, damn, that's a nice looking bike. So when it went up to where this person lived, looked at the bike, he had a Road King, a 2023 Road King, and we hit it off immediately. We were talking about motorcycles, and that felt good. Somebody that could talk about motorcycles and Heritage Softails and all these other motorcycles we've owned. It was really fun. But anyway, we talked about the bike. We're probably up there for a couple hours. And he gave me a box filled with stuff, like original parts and stuff that he had replaced. He did a lot of work. He put on this, here, I'll show you. He put on this license plate frame. Let me turn it on so you can see it. It's just really nice. I think it's the brand is Karaoke, I believe. And he put on the axle nut covers and the front covers. I'm going to replace those with Willie G's. And he actually had the Harley-Davidson flush gas cap and the flush digital fuel gauge. And I took them off because I wanted it to be more traditional looking. And he also had a black ignition switch as well. That's my alarm. And a couple other things that I put back to normal. But he gave me a box with all the original parts in it, which I thought was very cool. And just, reinforce the fact that this was the right bike and this was the right person. I believe when I purchased this, it only had like 9,300 miles on it. So he was one of those guys that was very meticulous, super cool guy, very meticulous. He liked to work on he liked to accessorize the motorcycle and just kind of tweak and work on it. I don't think he did any work on the engine, because when I took the gas cap off, when I took the gas tank off to run the wires for the handlebars, everything was zip tied down. It just looked like it came straight off the factory floor. So I really doubt that he did any work to the electrical other than the Karaoke license plate. He had to splice those into the main harness. But other than that, man, this bike was untouched. So it just reinforced the fact that it was the right bike for me. It was the right bike to get. It resonated with me. Everything felt in alignment with what I was looking for. He was a great guy, and I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I've done work to it already, and I promised you guys I was going to take you along the journey. I'm going to go back. I have to, the throttle cables, the wiring harness that I purchased was from Harley-Davidson. It was 60 inches long. The wiring harness that was on there was 43 inches. So I cut the difference and I made it 48 inches, but it's still too long. Here, let me show you. See, this is the wiring harness here. And it's just sloppy looking on both sides. And you can't see, it's just kind of sloppy looking. Just too long. So at some point, I'm going to take the gas tank off again. I'm going to depin the Molex connectors. I'm going to cut the cables shorter, probably another 3 inches, right? I'll repin everything. I'll put everything back together, and I will record that for you all, for sure, no doubt. I did a video on, what I did to pull the wiring harness, to take the old wiring harness out of these handlebars and pull the new stuff through. It was a pain in the butt. So go look at that one. That's a decent video. And I'm going to take off the voltage regulator. I already replaced it, but I'm going to take it off. It's not that big of a deal. And show you guys exactly what I did to replace it. I'll show you where all the wiring connects and all that good stuff. So everything I've done on the bike so far, with the exception of, the running the clutch cable, because I'd have to take the transmission cover off again, and that would be a mess. And the cam cover, I replaced that because I stripped out some screws in the little logo there. I mean, it's really unnecessary. It's just a bunch of bolts. You take them off, you put the new cam cover on, bolt it down. It's no big deal. I have a partial video on when I took the transmission cover off to replace the clutch cable. Maybe I'll post that. And I don't know. Maybe I'll take it off and just redo it. It's not that big of a deal. But like I said in my other video, I come out here, I'm ready to work, I get excited, I put the tent up, I put the bike on the wheel chock, and I just start going. And it's like I get done with it, and I'm like, damn it, you forgot to record. So I'll get better at that, guys, I promise. Yeah, I might even put back the flush gas cap and the flush fuel gauge. So that's going to be an interesting video because I'm going to have to repin the wires. So there's these, here, I'll show you. They're right here. So I have to take the little Molex connectors and crimp them down on the wires. And the thing is here, let me see if I can. Okay, so I've got, come on. I've got this, which is, I've got a new one. This is one I took off. So I've got this, which is the connection goes under the gas tank and it connects the fuel gauge to the wiring harness. And there's like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's not a lot of room here. There you go. So you put these Molex connectors on the wires, and you think they would just fit in there, but if you don't crimp them down in a very specific manner, like they won't go into the holes. They're supposed to slide into those holes and click. There's a little wedge thing in there that clicks and holds the pins in place. Even with this one, 2 of them went in and clicked, and the third one I had to kind of push in with a screwdriver. So I'm going to have to cut this, and I'll try to get the pins out, but more than likely I'm going to have to throw it away. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll pin up the flush mount and then just replace the gas cap and replace the fuel gauge. You know, I can do them like back and forth. Since I changed them, I was actually thinking about doing something where the part that plugs in underneath the gas tank, that piece that I just showed you, I was thinking about putting something so that the Molex connectors from the fuel gauge, the 3 wires that come down, plug into something different than going into the switch or going into the connector. So what I mean by that is I crimp 3 wires, put them in that connector, and the wires will be about 3 inches long, and then I'll put a female Molex connector on the end of those wires, so that when I pull the wires through for the fuel gauge, I'll be able to plug them into the female Molex connectors, and then that way it'll be easier to take off. I won't have to keep cutting these connectors off. I don't know if that makes sense, and that way I can easily just install the digital fuel gauge or the analog fuel gauge, and it won't be that big of a deal. So anyway, still lots of plans for the bike. I mean, like all of you, I change things around, and just depending on what I feel like. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So my current Night Train is again beautiful, beautiful, beautiful motorcycle, and I am 1000% happy and satisfied. I just love this motorcycle. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more wrenching on the bike. I'm even going to start doing videos on the biker culture, the Harley culture, what it's like to be a rider that's not really a part of an MC, but really adheres to that type of culture. And I'm even working on a book about just being a normal rider and how we interact with MCs and just respect on the road and things that I see people asking a lot of questions about. So stay tuned for all that stuff. I'm going to incorporate more diverse content around the Harley-Davidson lifestyle. All right, thanks for watching.